To render within our production pipeline, we've developed a render tool integrated into Maya, Houdini, and Nuke. The tool is accessible directly from the pipeline menu under the name Render, and is only functional when launched from a published script, as it uses the script name from that script to autofill key fields. The interface shares a consistent layout across all DCCs on the left side, where users can choose whether the render is for WIP, review, or publish. It also allows setting the status of the task and adding time tracking comments. The right panel of the interface adapts depending on the DCC, displaying the appropriate nodes or configurations for each software. At the bottom right corner of the tool, there are two main buttons. One for submitting to the render farm, which must be implemented per studio, and one for local rendering. Both buttons work the same way. They save the current script as the selected version and then execute the project's corresponding render logic. If either the local or farm logic is not implemented, the tool will display a message indicating that a TD must add it to the project. The logics will always receive standardized data with the publication info and the DCC-related data. The provided implementation uses that data to execute a local render and publish the data in the platform after that. In Maya, once the render tool is launched within a scene that's part of the pipeline, it displays a list of render layers available for rendering. These layers are pre-selected automatically based on their renderable status as configured in the Maya scene, but the artist can modify this selection freely. After selecting the desired layers and setting the version and task status, clicking the local render button triggers the Maya-specific render logic. This logic performs the rendering process and, upon completion, automatically publishes a new version of the scene and the corresponding render to the platform. This integration enables full traceability of both render and scene, ensuring the production stays organized and version controlled. Additionally, the render publication includes metadata that allows it to be loaded later in Nuke through the provided custom node read AOVs, enabling seamless transition into the compositing phase. In Houdini, the render tool is accessed from the same pipeline menu and provides flexibility to change the network path from which render nodes are listed, typically defaulting to the /out network where rendering is handled. If the scene was prepared using the Create Layer action, it will contain multiple output nodes grouped by render layer and render pass group. These nodes are displayed in the interface alongside their associated layer names, pass groups, and default output folders, usually pointing to the render directory. Artists can select which nodes to include in the render, and upon pressing the local render button, the Houdini-specific logic kicks in. This logic begins rendering each selected node, and once complete, it publishes the outputs to the platform along with metadata about layers, passes, and frame range. Just like in Maya, these outputs are formatted for compatibility with later compositing stages, particularly for loading into Nuke using read AOVs nodes. In Nuke, the render tool is also found in the pipeline menu and must be run within a published script. The tool scans the scene for write nodes. Ideally, they should be the pipe write nodes to guarantee that the output path is set to the right folder location, and displays each with its configured resolution, output format, and designated folder, typically render or pre-comp. Users can select which write nodes they want to render locally, and once they press the local render button, the tool runs the Nuke-specific render logic defined in the project. This logic processes the selected nodes and, once rendering is finished, publishes an EXR file containing basic render metadata to the platform. Refreshing the platform view then shows the new render version associated with the current scene. The render can be brought back into the comp using the Load Render button available on the right node, preparing it for review in the EXR workflow, which will be covered in EXR to Review tutorial.